Yeah. Okay. Right. So I can leave it there. All right. Well, last time I never saw her. Yeah? Whenever it's here. So, just have to be smart when I have to turn. You can start with that one. Jaloka will prepare it there. Just who's the forum? Sorry. So I won't go into the philosophical. No, just go. All right. No problem. No problem. Comrade. You want to send the message?
Yeah, I wanted to just finish this. Actually, I will bring it for you. You know what I will do? Now, I'll hide from you. I'll hide from you.
Oh, all right.
The whole image.
Oh, okay. How long are we going to be? Okay, sure. Okay. So when we are going to do the call-ins?
Call-ins, the phone, which one of those?
This one.
So then you have to make sure that this phone is positioned in the time that you answer. So the speaker goes, you put the loudspeaker, you answer, you put the loudspeaker in.
Oh, okay.
And then the sound goes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So just when you answer, put the loudspeaker. And then you make sure that.
And then we listen to the question and.
So I think you're going to have to keep on, or I think you have the host.
Yeah, he's the host.
So he's going to have to keep on reminding he doesn't know who opened the line.
I think our projection also, sometimes I heard the pronouncements of some of the words were being swallowed, so we need to, yeah.
The sound is balanced.
Yeah,
the last.
Should there be any serious problem? You see, I will write it down. I'll just say like.
Okay.
I'll put it here. So
say that.
Okay.
We'll keep on. Yes.
So just when you see me there, don't be disturbed. Whatever I say, don't stop talking. Continue for the next 30 seconds as if you didn't see me.
Okay, no problem. Okay, you can take the piece. Good evening. My name is Keiza Maswanganyi, and you are watching hashtag Back, SA Back to God campaign. Tonight I'm with Confidante Tshwane, Alfred, who's going to be telling more about Eco Forum and what Eco Forum stands for. So I'm just going to quickly go into it. Can you tell us more about Eco Forum? Who is Eco Forum?
Thank you very much, Keiza. I'm not going to dwell much on the philosophical and theocratic background of where Eco Forum comes from. I think the president covered that because we had the president on earlier and even the previous time. Yes, but all I could say is that Eco Forum, it's a movement. It's a movement that stands on three legs. The one leg, Eco Forum, it's a political party that it's going to be contesting for elections in 2019, mainly to represent to be the voice of the voiceless. A lot of the parties and a lot of people claim that they are representing the voiceless, but they call them grassroots. What is grassroots? Grassroots is what is underneath. They walk over it.
Oh.
But we believe that the real government is actually the people themselves.
Wow.
And we believe that Eco Forum brings in systems and mechanisms that are going to make sure that the people themselves govern. That is the first leg of it. And on the second leg is that we believe that we need to represent the voice of the workers.
Okay.
And in a way that it's going to help the economy grow, that is going to make a contribution to the economy, but not trampling on the rights of workers. That is why we believe that we will establish an organization, a union called Eco Forum Trade Union of South Africa. Then on the other hand, we know economy is important. So we will establish a trust. It will stand on a trust that is going to assist those who are unable to help themselves, to take care of the needs, the economic needs of those who cannot stand and help themselves. Yes. So these are the three legs. We are driving the economy. We are going to go into governance as a political party because we believe in governance more than politicking and politics. We believe in governance. So, and then the workers of the country must also be well represented, and we are going to be putting up a voice for the workers of this country.
Confident, Tshwane, you are telling me a lot. It looks like you have it all figured out. Now, tell me, why are you confidante and not comrade?
Well, we've been comrades.
Okay.
People have been calling each other comrades, and they turn around, they stab each other at the back, they betray one another, and the word comrade has lost meaning, and we felt that confidante is somebody you can trust.
Okay.
So whoever works with us, whoever is on board, we believe that it's a person that we can trust. It's a person who has my back, if I can put it that way. So that is why we use confidante more than just using comrade, which is very common. Anybody uses it, even when they're about to kill you, they can use the word comrade.
Comrade. Wow. Okay, that's so mouthful, sir. Now tell us, what does EcoForum stand for?
EcoForum, we believe that we need to bring transformation in the economy. We need reformation. And reformation, it goes even deeper than just transformation.
Can you elaborate on those points? When you're talking transformation, what is it that you want transformed? What reformation are we talking about?
First of all, we need to reform the governance system of this country.
Okay.
The governance system of this country lends itself to corruption.
Okay.
The governance system of this country is the one that is taking a lot of money to maintain bureaucracy, rather than taking the money to provide the services to the people of South Africa.
Let me understand that one. You say the government of this country lends itself in corruption. What is it that you can do that can make you not to be corrupted? What is different with
No, let me first deal with the issues of corruption.
Okay.
I think first of all is the value system. If people have integrity,
Yes.
and we have people in leadership and in governance who have integrity,
Okay.
those who have the fear of God, God is part of this whole package.
Okay.
Because people take their own ways, people do whatever they want to do because they kill their conscience. And we've had people saying people must vote with their conscience and so on, and they turn around and betray one another. So we are saying that conscience must be the one that we must see manifesting in governance. The reformation of governance goes deeper. Right as it is today, people are talking about a bloated public service. There's no government. There's no government that can run without the public service. It's a machinery. Any government that fails is because the public service has failed. If we don't reform there, but we believe that the public sector is too big. That's where the reformation, that's where we need the reformation, because the public sector in itself is too big. Let me give an example.
Okay.
You cannot have legislatures as many as we have in this country. The center is not holding. If you have so many legislatures, we have too many legislatures. There's a national legislature, which is parliament, which is the highest body in this country in terms of lawmaking. And you have provincial legislatures, which to me, I feel they are useless. They are absorbing and they are using a lot of public funds that are supposed to be going into implementation. The reason this country is failing to implement.
So, if I'm getting you right, that you're talking centralizing governance.
What I'm talking about, there are functions that needs to be driven from the top.
Okay.
We have seen where premiers would turn a minister away because the powers have been given to the provincial legislature. And where we need legislation and policy at a macro level. And we have parliament to do that. And we have a national government to do that. And what we need local authorities. And the local authorities can set their bylaws in controlling their own areas and their own spaces. If you have legislation at those 2 points, there's no one legislature that is opposing another, like we have in the current setup of South Africa. So we need the reformation. We need to reform. Let's take the public sector. Pardon me. If we take the public sector itself, it's bloated. Not the public servants who provide services, the nurses, the police, the teachers. But we have a bloated public service. Public sector. The SOEs are repeating the same services that are provided by government departments.
Yes.
You have agencies. How many agencies? Let's take one department as an example.
Okay.
The Department of Transport.
Yes.
How many agencies does the Department of Transport have? How many CEOs, how many boards that we have there? How much are they being paid? And all of them are supporting only one department.
But someone could say that is job creation. We created opportunities for many. What's your take on that?
At what level do you need job creation? If you look at the CEOs of the agencies, if you look at Sandral, if you look at the RTMC, if you look at all the agencies, some of them earn more than the DG of a department that they are purporting to be experts. Why can't government departments in the public service itself have those same experts? So all I'm saying is that the reformation, yes, we need to go even deeper in terms of changing the governance systems of this country, not to have money absorbed in the governance and have less money that reaches the people for service delivery on the ground. This is an endemic problem of this country. And we have seen how people take advantage of those formations, yes, in the bureaucracy, yes, how they use those structures for corruption. So if you have so many structures to control, you've got too many avenues where money is pushed and pushed and pushed, and it actually disappears as it goes down, being disseminated. But little of that money really goes to the services on the ground. So when we say as EcoForum, we need a reformation, yes, we mean exactly that we don't need too many legislatures. Okay. We don't need a provincial legislature. Why do we need a provincial legislature? Many of the successful countries, especially in the East, the center is holding. You can't have a premier opposing the minister. When you have a premier opposing the minister, it means the national priorities in terms of the plans of the country are not going to realize, because it goes according to the whims and the politics of that province. When the needs of the people have been determined and have been assessed, and they are centralized at national. So that service delivery gets choked. Then you get in the provinces, when we speak about reformation of the governance systems, you also get the so-called development corporations. The development corporations, what do they stand for? They are repeating the same services that national governments are doing. Wow. And therefore, you lose control on what needs to happen on the ground. You lose control of the money. All the money is absorbed. If you look at a development corporation, you have a board, you have a CEO, you have got staffers, you've got people there, but you also have DTI. You see, who are doing the very same thing? So we are saying the public service, where the bouquet of public services is provided, needs not be distorted. We know what government needs to provide on the ground. So on the ground, we know that electricity must be provided by government, roads must be provided by government. We know that education must be provided by government. We'll speak about education later on, because we've got our own views about what needs to happen in the education system. But we are just talking about governance. And we are saying, at local level, the formation of even those committees that run at local level, let's go and have a look at them. What is happening there? It's job creation for certain people who are supporting certain political parties. And all they do, they all receiving 1,000 for being in a ward committee. But the skills of the people that they have, do they really have the skills to understand the needs of that community? Do they understand the value chains in that community, to say, for this city to run, for this town to run, what are the value chains? What are the value systems that we need to create? And what is the value chain in each value system? So all these things are lacking on the ground. We are just running on slogans, but we are saying that reformation is very critical, because we need to fundamentally revisit the bureaucracy. We need to revisit fundamentally what is happening in terms of governance in the country.
If I'm hearing well, you are saying in case where we have the police, we have the national police, provincial police, metro police, are you talking a system whereby we can have all this run under one police?
It is happening. Why do we have national governments? There are national governments and their systems are running smoothly.
Yes.
Why then when you come to, let's say, correctional services,
Yes.
their system is running smoothly. They don't have MECs, they don't have, and so on. So they are not absorbing the money. But when it comes to police, you find that there are many cases that we can quote. Western Cape is a case in point.
Yes.
The national police is from another party. The provincial police is another party.
Okay.
So they fight instead of solving the problem of crime in that country, in that province. Everyone they want to support their own policies and so on. So if we don't reform that, we have national police. They intervene where there are problems.
Yeah.
Why do we have so many police departments? Police heads, police commissioners can be there for governance purposes. And let me tell you, Kaiser,
Oh, yes.
in terms of saving the money, instead of retrenching public servants, that money that finances the VIP protectors of the Premier, of the MEC, that money that goes into their private and personal offices, that money that is wasted into the post office government of the province will go to the regions, will be disseminated down to the regions, will be disseminated down to municipalities without being choked. Right now, money comes from National for Water. It must be sanctioned in the province. Why? Money comes from national government. It must be sanctioned in the province. The province takes their share, and the money does not reach the services of the people on the ground. So we are saying as Eco Forum, we need a fundamental reformation of the governance. We can't retrench public servants. It's suicidal. The ANC government, if I may say so, in 1994, when they wanted to transform the public service, they offered severance packages. But who left? The very good people that they wanted to retain left the public service. That is why they are struggling even up to now. That is why you'll have government departments unable to fill positions. That is why you'll have government departments sitting with vacancies. And when government wants to save money, they say, no, let us retrench. Now they are getting into the profitability mode of the private sector. And they want to retrench people. So that is where the reformation comes from.
Can you hold it right there?
Right.
We are speaking to head of policy for Eco Forum, Confidante Tshwane. Now, I just want to tell you that you can call us live. Our number on studio is 083-716-5721. Or you can also call us on 076-572-6913. You can speak to us, you can engage with Confidante Tshwane on the matters that we are discussing tonight here. Now, tell me, Confidante Tshwane, we have a situation in Hammanskraal where there was water that has been a problem for the community for a very long time. Would you attribute that to the different levels of authority in government?
Look, we are active in Hammanskraal. Maybe before we even go to the water problem in Hammanskraal, let us go to the industrialization. We'll talk about the economy, but I just want to show you an example. That you have Babelegi as an industrial park. When the city, the town falls and it's declared to be falling under Gauteng. But the Babelegi Industrial Park still falls under Northwest. So you've got two provinces fighting over this. Now it's power. It's power play because Gauteng is controlled by another party and Northwest is controlled by a different party. And then that power play that is taking place, it's stifling development. It's taking the jobs of the people away. The people that needs to be benefiting from those industries. We'll talk about economy and industrialization. We'll come to that. But I'm just giving you that example. It shows that when you are going to have a provincial government that is like what we have in this country that needs to be reformed. you are going to have those bottlenecks. The services won't be, because the one says, it's not my mandate, it's not in my space, it's in somebody else's space. It's not in my area, it's in somebody else's area. So I can give you ample examples where this thing is choking development in this country. I can give you an example right now. I know you've asked the question of water. Yes, indeed. It is those things that stifle it. It is the politicking. That is why we believe not in the politics, but we believe in governance. If we can streamline governance, and we put people, governors, people who will govern and run these areas, these value systems, without interference of politics, those areas could be having clean water. Those industries could be running. This is where we're saying the reformation needs to come in. There needs to be a change of mindset in us reforming, because what is happening there, it's actually killing.
You've touched on an issue of Mabeleki Industrial Park. What is your stand? Where are you taking South Africa economically when it comes to the industrial hub? We don't have much of those active in the state. In our government of the day, most of those kind of industrial hub are not active. What is the stand of EcoForum in line with the economy of the country when it comes to job creation?
What I can say is that, first of all, we need to look at building our economy from the masses of our people.
Oh, yes.
The best thing that a country has is its human resources.
Oh, yes.
That's the best thing. That's the first resource we have. It's people that God has given to a country. Before you even utilize that, you need to skill the people. You need to link education to industry. You can't educate people and give them knowledge and skills that are not relevant to the development of the economy. So you need to link your education system to your economy.
Oh, yes.
When you develop your people, when you put out your human resource development plan and strategy, it needs to be speaking to the economy of that country.
Wow.
We are not going to be importing skills like we are doing in this country right now. We're importing skills. SOEs are importing skills. SOEs, by the way, to those who don't know, the state-owned enterprises which are vehicles for corruption. And they are using foreigners. We've got people with skills in mining in this country. But go and look, a simple mine like Lonmin, who's running it? Who's the CEO of Lonmin? Is he a South African? I'm not putting that person on, he's not appointed himself. His bosses have appointed him. But all we are saying, as long as these things are so loose that we are not utilizing the skills that we have, and where we have a shortage of skills, our education system produces the relevant skills that we have for the development of the economy, we are not going to grow the economy. Secondly, we are saying we need to start with what we have. The industrial parks that I referred to, like Babelegi, like Putadichaba, like Dimbaza in the Eastern Cape, many others I can mention there.
Oh, yes.
We need to start the development of the economy in the periphery.
Okay.
That is the reason why you have people migrating from those rural areas, coming to the urban areas. And we want, then we call them foreigners when they move from the former Transkei and Ciskei. And then when they go to Cape Town, we call them foreigners. How can they be foreigners in their own country when they are born and bred in in the country? But the reason that is driving them there is economy. So if we are going to focus only on the macro economy, the economy of getting foreign investment, where do the profits go in the foreign investment? If Lonmin is owned, I like using Lonmin because it's close by.
Okay.
If that mine is owned by British people and Americans, if many other industries are owned by companies sitting in other countries, we've seen how this thing broke down with all the investments that were done, the Steinhoff and all of those things that broke down. The money goes back there, the profits go back there. Wow. Our people are used for labor to make money that goes out of this country. So we are saying as EcoForum, That needs to change. Things have to change, not only in South Africa, but in Africa in general. But because we are standing and we are here, charity begins at home, we need to start here. We can't have our big firms owned by foreign countries. We can't just have foreign investment creating jobs in our own country. We need to create our own jobs. So we need to start with what we have. We need to start with our people. Those factories that have been giving thousands and thousands of people jobs needs to be brought back into the mainstream economy. We need to look at the township economy and not pay lip service to it. Township economy. We need to create networks in the township economy.
How do we plan to do that?
For instance, there are milling companies, there are distribution companies, there are manufacturers in South Africa that are relying on the main line distribution points when we can create our own Kasi way, our own Kasi networks for distribution. As EcoForum, we are going around trying to partner right now, like one milling company around in Niger that is black owned. And we are going to create networks in all over South Africa.
Sure. You can talk about them. Which company is this?
Mapo Group. It's the Mapo Group.
Wow.
Letabo Milling, it used to be called. It used to be in the Free State, but it has migrated. It's here. It is growing bigger. And Mapo Milling, Mapo as a Mapo Group, and Letabo Milling, we are creating a network with them so that we create people in economies in township where their trucks will deliver to a depot inside a township, Kagiso, Soweto, Heidelberg, and so on. And these people will be distributing, will be packaging for the older people in the community who cannot go and take taxis. It saves them money to ride taxis to go to the big shops of this country and then the big chain stores of this country, of which their money is not even spent in this country. So we need a total evolution from what used to be there to get people to understanding that the whole economy needs that kind of reformation. Let's take the industrialist program. I like the industrialist program because it's about manufacturing. But look at what government has on the table right now. Their threshold is that they are developing black industrialists. But your project must be 30 million.
So if you
30 million. 30 million alone, 30 million can develop those Babelehi industrial parks instead of giving it to one person. And we don't know.
The whole community.
It can serve the whole community. 30 million can revive that. We did some preliminary costing on Babelehi. We've got a business plan for Babelehi that will serve as a blueprint that can be taken to all the other industrial parks that are falling apart. We've got skilling programs because they need to be renovated. There are companies that are hearing what we are saying, are listening to what we are saying, that needs to partner to revive. To take away corrosion, to kick corrosion out, to train communities on those skills that are scarce, that you find only in certain companies. We can take these skills to the communities. Then they can deal with the problems the municipalities are failing, of the water they are losing. So the skilling is very critical. Industrialization, starting from the periphery, is important. Commercialization, which can be built in communities, is very critical. So we need to look at that. The industrial development program that the country has right now, I think it leaves much to be desired. And we need an inclusive community, inclusive economy. An inclusive economy means exactly what we are trying to achieve. Because there are elites in this country that are excluding the masses because they want to create labor out of the masses. And our union is going to fight that as well. But we are saying from a policy perspective and a policy point of view, we need to look into that. That there are black business organizations. How much is it to affiliate to it? What is it that is killing the small and medium enterprises.
Oh, yes.
It's the bureaucracy. If you go and you want to feel, you know, it's all the bureaucracy that has been created. This one is called this. It can give you funding. This one can give you only facilitate training. This one can facilitate that. It's too scattered. The center is not holding. And if the center is not...
We haven't been seeing them helping everyone.
No.
Okay.
And instead, businesses are falling. We are getting out of business. So we need to reform. We need to change what is happening in that. You know, and then you have so many government departments that are doing the very same thing. And yet we are saying there's no money for public services. And you have 3 or 4 departments that are dealing with the same thing. So we need first to look at that, because they each come with different policies. Each come with different policies, different programs, and so on. And all the money that is being put in there, does it really reach the people on the ground? Does it really reach our people on the ground? So we need to unpack all of those things. We need to fuse some of the useless departments that we see. I mean, the Department of Business Development has not done anything, if I can quote that one. It was established to add on those that exist, DTI and others.
Yeah.
There are programs in DTI, but who can access them? If you look at the number of forms that we have to fill, they even have a list of consultants. When you speak to them, they want you to pay them 20,000 upfront for them to help you with the business plan and all those things. I mean, we are creating, and if you know of those organizations, I've been in touch with some of them, having been in business, are owned by foreign people, foreign nationals. Nothing against foreign nationals, but I'm saying charity begins at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your stand on immigration? And I'm talking about when you have immigrants that are coming into our country, some of them coming illegally. What's your policy there? Because we've got a problem where you find that you get some kind of wars that start in our townships because they say these foreigners are taking our jobs and all that. What's your policy when it comes to the foreign nationals who find themselves in this country illegally?
The fact of the matter, Kaiser, in response to your question, is that there are skills that we need in the country. And our brothers and sisters who come up from abroad, from Africa, who are skilled, who have been well trained, and we need them. But any country must tighten their borders, must tighten their rules, because before you realize, then your country, even the wrong people that are not supposed to be in your country, who are running away from things that they do in their own countries, end up in your own country. When you find problems growing in your own country, you can't put a finger on exactly where the problems are happening. That is why then there will be perceptions from your own citizens saying it is because of foreigners or foreign nationals. And they take the law into their own hands and they start attacking people. Whereas who failed is the one who is supposed to have to control the borders, is the one who is supposed to have put proper immigration policies. But our immigration policies, we need to be careful, because we get a lot of other immigrants from other countries abroad, not only Africans, who come in here and nobody really raises their voices, you know, in terms of that. They would come in, different nationalities all over, and we welcome them. And some of our own countries, our own companies, some of our own SOEs, and our own companies like Telkom and so on, you can go and look how many Indians they've employed, that they've paid accommodation for. They have complexes. These people have got cars that are sponsored by the company because they say they need the technology. What is their plan in terms of developing our own and prepare them? Yes, for the fourth industrial revolution. How are they preparing? And yet they take numbers and numbers, and you find that When we do that to Africans, people start complaining. But there are other nationalities that are in this country, working in our own organizations, in our own companies, and in our own state-owned enterprises as well.
And we're not complaining about
We're not complaining about that. Nobody's taking that course forward. So we are saying it needs to be looked in its totality. Those who are not supposed to be in a country must be deported back to their own countries. Those who are supposed to be in their countries, but as the president said when he was here, that one of our philosophy is diplomacy. One of our philosophy is diplomacy. Yes, and we need to tap into diplomacy because no country exists on its own. Yes, so the diplomacy is very important when you deal with matters like immigration policies.
Wow, that is so powerful. We are talking to head of policy for Eco Forum, and we would like you to call us. We've got our numbers that are showing on the screen. You can call us on 083-716-5721. Else you can also call us on 076-572-6913. And you speak to us on the studio. We have the member, the NEC member of Eco Forum, Confidante Tshwane, on the studio. Okay, before we open for the callers, can you just tell us how is Eco Forum going to change the situation that we have? How do we plan? You already said that you highlighted a number of points where we need to change. How is Eco Forum planning to have this addressed?
First of all, as Eco Forum, we need all the skills we have in the country.
Oh, yes.
We don't need cadre deployment. We don't need people because they are carrying a membership card of Eco Forum. Therefore, they will just be put in any position. Any person who's a South African citizen who's qualified to occupy key positions.
Oh, yes.
Look at the ESCOMs of today where we are. Look at all the other state-owned enterprises by putting people. Look at the municipalities. How many municipalities are falling apart? Because they are the cause of the problem that ESCOM is also suffering because they are not paying. Nobody is paying. They are not encouraging their citizens to pay. They are not ensuring that the services are delivered for the citizens to willingly want to pay for the services. Because you don't have to coerce people if you're doing the right thing. You want people to say, I'm a responsible citizen.
Yeah.
I would want to pay for the services that I receive from government.
Wow.
So that there's more money. I want to pay my taxes without dodging. Because there's more money that must go into the fiscus to serve those who cannot help themselves.
Speaking about services, South Africa is currently going through load shedding crisis. Electricity seems to be a problem. How does Eco Forum intend to solve this kind of crisis?
Let me first finish off this point.
Okay.
Yes, because we need partnerships.
Oh,
Yes, you said, how are we going to do this? We need partnerships. Yes, we need partnerships from business. We need partnerships from organized labor.
Oh, yes.
We need partnerships from the citizens themselves.
Oh, yes.
Because it should be the citizens themselves. They are the real government, after all.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we need the citizens themselves to partner with us in driving every part of reformation we want to do in this country. They must be part of that.
Oh, yes.
We need to revisit the moral fiber of this society. Social justice must be seen to be done. We cannot just speak about social justice.
Oh, yes.
That is why we participate in many forums that deal with GBV, gender-based violence.
Okay.
Because it needs to be eliminated. We can't have gender-based violence. We cannot have the amount of corruption that we see in the country We cannot see the abuse of children that we see in the country. And yet we are sitting back. And we are not there, we are not participating. It was laughable to hear that even some of the those who regard themselves as pioneers, that they don't have a simple thing like a sexual harassment policy. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Not at this day and age. So we cannot stand for things like that. We need men with integrity to be able to lead. So we need people that will be appointed, will have the qualifications, will be men of integrity, they will have a moral high ground. So those values that we have lost, we need to bring the order back into the schooling system. There's no order in the schooling system. We need to bring the order into the schooling system. We need to bring order into policing. All the reformation that I was talking about earlier. So if all these things are not aligned, then you see chaos in the country. This one erupting there, this one erupting there, and erupting everywhere else. So we need to start focusing on those things. We need to relook at the positioning of our tertiary institutions. You can't have a tertiary institution. Because I lived in the Free State for a while, and I also got educated in the university that is Free State that is based in Pretoria. You can't have a university and have a poor community around it. What is that university doing? What happened to research and it's not serving the community. Where's the research and development? We need to improve on research and development to meet the needs of the communities where these tertiary institutions are sitting. You can't have tertiary institutions that are there providing generic education, that are not preparing our children for the industry, that are not preparing our children to run government, that are not preparing our children to run their own lives, their businesses. So we need to see the value of tertiary. We can't have government giving free education at tertiary institutions, giving the subsidies that they give, employing lecturers, paying high salaries, and yet you have Fort Hare and Eastern Cape produces the worst results when you have so many universities in the Eastern Cape. That's my hometown, by the way, my home province. We can't have that. We need to relook into all the, what is it that they are producing? Are they helping the country, or is it only just job creation for certain people who see themselves called academics, so-called academics, who are not coming with groundbreaking research to improve the life of people in this country? So we are saying we want organizations to partner with us. Education system, the tertiary institutions. We welcome innovations and creativity that will come from other countries, but we must develop our own. We don't want another form of colonization by a lot of foreign investment, and we find ourselves ending up colonized. So we need to develop. There's a groundswell, there's a lot of, and there are a lot that have created. A lot of research and development. We need education that is relevant. So we are going to be creating partnerships in achieving this. We are not talking about the current partnerships that are based on some body out and not. Consideration is to say there is wisdom that was established before, which people overlook. That is that shaped the lives of how to deal with the poverty, how to deal with justice, how to deal with lawmaking. All what we are saying is that these wisdoms, this wisdom is already there. The words were spoken by those who came before us. It's not theory. It's not ideologies. You know.
So you are saying beyond the education and the skills of performing certain jobs, there is a level that you need to tap on to remain.
To change the social fiber of our community, to change the hearts and the minds of our people in the country. We need to know who the creator is and what the expectation of the Creator is. That is why we are saying value system that has been established, that makes people know that there are certain things that they cannot do when they hold public office, when they deal with their fellow citizens. They cannot do those things. So we are speaking of reiterating the wisdom that has already been established. We don't have to go and invent anything to change, but we need our people just to embrace. That's why we say we need our people to partner with us to change from inside. To establish.
I've got in the studio with me Confidante Tshwane. He has said a lot already. You might be watching out there and you feel to give an input or ask a question. The numbers that are showing on the screen, you can call us on them, and we are ready to speak to you. I believe he's got good answers for you pertaining to what EcoForum is planning to do. EcoForum is positioning itself as a...
Maintenance did not happen in ESCOM. The systems were manipulated like many other systems that are being manipulated to enrich certain people. So the challenge that we are facing, it's a governance challenge. It's a challenge of people who manipulate government systems, who manipulate structures of government to enrich themselves. And their friends in the portfolio committee, it was SCOPA, the Select Committee on Public Accounts. It was shocking to hear the amount of corruption that was happening, the amount of money that was stolen at Water Affairs out of that department. Not in the Zondo Commission, it's something of late, but just listening to what the committee members were taken through and the questions that they were asking in SCOPA and the amount of money that has been squandered. And that's not the only government department. And if we close those steps, money is available in this country. I read a Facebook page, one of the guys was saying, if I take over as government, we have so much money that I can be able to give each member of South Africa, each family in South Africa, R1 million. Wow. We are not saying that as EcoForum, but we are saying there is money in this country, but it's channeled wrongly. The systems are manipulated, and the money is going where it's not supposed to go.
Wow. That is so enlightening. So now, viewers, you are watching hashtag SA Back to God campaign. And I'm on the studio here with Confidante Tshwane. So if you want to call, if you want to speak to us, you can call on the numbers that are showing on the screen. Anytime we'll take it, and we are going to address whatever you want to address with us. Coming back to EcoForum, you spoke of restitution. Can you tell us more? What is it that you mean when you are saying you are bringing restitution? What is your stand when it comes to the land question?
That's a very interesting one.
Okay.
Because we believe that for years, since the Constitution was written, the law was there to act. But I think it's the mechanisms that were followed that failed the people of this country. And when we approach the land issue, that is where we also would want to use diplomacy when we address the land question. But the question that we always ask, and the question that we are putting on the table, who owns the land in this country? Who is the biggest landlord in this country? In urban areas, as well as the areas that are being developed right now in rural areas. Us will go to the bank and the bank will own that and they will hold the title to it. The titles are held, many of us, in my neighborhood, maybe just on a lighter note, in my neighborhood, when we have a group and people were complaining that, yeah, we are going to block the government and these parties from taking our land. Then I posed one question. I said, how many of you have paid up their bonds with the bank. And then it was very few people. So actually who owns their houses, their land, where they are right now, is the bank. The malls are owned by the banks. Now they are moving into even trust land, where we need our partners as the chiefs, because the chiefs are the carriers of our value systems, the Ubuntu also. When I spoke about reiteration, you know, where reiteration is not only in the holy books, but it is also there in the value systems that were created. But the land issue is a very tricky issue. We can want popularism and say we are going to take our land back from the whites and so on. How many whites own the land? If we are not going to look at the banking system, we need to look at the banking system. We need to look at what is actually the business of the bank. Is it the business of the bank to own land? In our view, we say government needs to audit everything. The banks have received triple their money that they've loaned out to people to buy land. So government needs, we have a bank which is called the Land Bank. We need to give a mandate to the Land Bank to start auditing all the land that's available in the country. If the mandate has to change of Land Bank, it has to change, so that they look at the land tenure system of this country. If we are not going to change the land tenure system with all its policies and laws that have been created, we are not going to be able to solve the land problem. We can spur people on to occupy any piece of land that they see vacant, and to be chased off that land brutally by the police, by the red ants and everybody else. But that is not a diplomatic strategy on how to help our people. We need a diplomatic strategy on how to help our people. That land is also going to affect agriculture. By the way, at some point, I spoke to the organization, the president and the delegation, we spoke to some farmers, white farmers, let me state it clearly. And they were saying the issue of land is so sensitive that out of the 35,000 farms that are there, about 20,000 of them are in the market for sale. Who's going to buy them?
20,000.
Yes. Who's going to buy them?
And they're not being bought.
They're not being bought. People are afraid to buy them because the big brother, the bank, is going to give you a loan, Kaiser, a bond on that land, and they own the land. And you work there and you produce. Sometimes nothing comes out of it and so on. And some people would want to leave and run away from those farms because there's drought. Things have changed. So we should not fool our people and think that when we give them the land, they are actually going to plow. But here's what we are saying to our people. Every piece of land that you get, even if it's your yard, produce food, because we believe in food security. Plant whatever you can plant and feed your children to save yourself money. Here's what we are saying also. Sometimes the reiterated word is very important. At some point, we'll have to think about the jubilee in this country because our people are so indebted. And if you read from the scriptures, it says, who controls? The rich control the poor. The borrower is a slave to the lender. So that word is spoken. So we cannot allow our people.
And we are still saying, as a Back to God campaign, I'm here with Apostle.
Yes, I've said a lot, but we're saying as Eco Forum we need to prioritize agriculture, mining, and financial services. That's where we are.